Getting the time, and be ready when it's ready, and it's actually ready when it's not ready. I know. And I'm like, I get to sit sometimes, and other people don't get to sit. And I'm just trying to figure out these Yeah. Hey, yeah, it's a no filters other way. Let's start with no. Somehow I was on video in that lab. I love his response.
Nope, keep on doing it. Make it happen.
Good evening, everyone. We're about to get started. If anyone is interested in speaking this evening during public comment, there are speaker forms on the table as you enter the room. If you could fill those out and bring them to me, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to open our meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Kelly. Appreciate that. All right. We have our Metro Cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14 replay on Monday, May 27th, 6 p.m., and Tuesday, May 28th at 9 a.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website, www.metrofire.ca.gov. We now have the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Chair, do you have any speaker forms?
I believe one is on its way right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Aaron Jones is here with us this evening. If you would like to join us at the podium, the microphone is on, and we have the 3-minute timer ready for you.
Where's the 3-minute timer? Do I get to see it or anything? I've got something on my phone here too. So
it is in the lower left-hand corner of that podium.
Oh, I see it. Great. So my name is Aaron Jones. I am a citizen of Fair Oaks, and I am in District 5, Jennifer Sheets' district. And I'm also a volunteer with Sacramento Metro Fire's Community Emergency Response Team, CERT. And I'm in my 3rd year of volunteering as a CERT member within Metro Fire, and have really enjoyed the experience, the training. It's just been really fantastic. The community involvement has been lovely. In my time with CERT, I have volunteered over 300 hours, and providing such things as first aid, teaching, public outreach, responding to severe weather, and logistics services. As a member of CERT, I've worked in such community events as the California Air Show, the Rancho Cordova 4th of July, the Fair Oaks Extravaganza, the American River Parkway Run, Citrus Heights Family Campout. The list just goes on and on. I'm told it's about 75 $7,200 or so in value that I've donated in my time to the department and our community. And that doesn't include what happens if a disaster happens and we're standing at one of those events and we have extra responders on hand to respond. So everybody now knows a little bit about CERT. There's also a program called Listos, which is a program that's a derivative of CERT that's designed to be more linguistically and culturally appropriate for the diverse community that we live in here in our county and in the state at large. The Governor Newsom understands the importance of the CERT program and the Listos program, and he's taken $50 million to invest in those two programs here in the state, and created numerous grants and has a kickoff starting 1 week from today in San Diego. There will be about 600 volunteer CERT members and Listos members, primarily from California, that will be going to San Diego to receive that multi-day training and participate in that. He's also set aside 200 free tickets to help people get to that conference as well. There's also a lot of discounted tickets beyond that, where they're 50% off. And I've been told I've been trying to get this information to our CERT members and have been told that it's not going to happen. And we're not going to be applying, the department is not going to be applying for any of those funds. There's 58 states in the county. You do the math, $50 million, about $1 million should be coming here, but we're not even going to be applying for any of those 200 tickets, and we don't have any plans to send anybody to there. We supposedly can't afford it, even though the governor has created grants to do so. I've got a couple of emails here that I'd love to give to the board. In my emails to the CERT leaders and captains and chief, trying to get involved, trying to collaborate with them so that we can get somebody there. Unfortunately, I didn't hear anything back. That was been over 10 days ago now. May I submit this to somebody?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Jones. Submit to the board clerk. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing the information. All right, moving on. Our next item is consent item. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move it. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Director Sailors.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali. Sheets.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
And Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're moving on to our action items, of which we have two. The first one is Deferred Compensation Committee vacancy, and we have a recommendation. We have Captain Dustin Rodriguez. Will he be making the presentation?
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome to the podium, Captain Rodriguez.
Board, thank you for having me. The Deferred Compensation Committee is comprised of 9 people from different branches within Metro Fire. And under there, we have 4 that are currently retired, 4 that are active right now, and we have 1 vacancy from an engineer, Ken Greenberg, who retired in January. He stepped down and is not able to perform actions on the committee. He's going to go out and enjoy his retirement. So doing so, we put out an email for interest. We had 11 people reply back saying that they were interested. 6 people then went to our second phase, which was a essay question style, asking why they wanted to be on the committee and what their plans were. And after that, 3 were offered an interview to come to the meeting. Following that, we offered firefighter Kyle Santuccio the position, and he accepted. So with your granting him, he would be on board for our committee. We go to an annual conference in September called NAGDA, so we need him on the committee so we can get registered for that conference.
Are there any questions for the captain?
Is Mr. Santuccio present?
Mr. Santuccio is not present, just due to the short time frame. He had a vacation planned, and he is in Scotland right now.
Wow. Investment opportunities. All right.
Madam Chair, I would move the recommendation of appointing Mr. Santucci.
I'll second.
All right, it's been first and seconded. Any further discussion from directors?
No, actually, this was, we were rather surprised that we had 11 people apply for the position, the spot, and He has a willingness to help because of the PEPRA and understanding that the retirement system is different. He wants to help his peers be ready for that transition. So,
All right. Well represented by your client there, Captain. All right. Madam Clerk, we've had a first and second. Please call the roll.
Director Sailors.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali. Sheets.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
And Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to the second action item, purchase approval, BP 19-06 Pierce Air Light Unit. Mr. Purcell, our fleet manager, welcome to the podium.
Good morning, or good evening, President Jones, Board of Directors, Chief of Arms. That was my one get out of jail, sir. So I'll try not to screw the rest of this up. I'm here this evening to ask for your approval to purchase an air unit. We've been working on this particular spec for about 2 years. It's called an air light unit. It's basically a mobile SCBA filling station, but it also has a light tower on it, so they call it an air light. Our current frontline vehicle is 18 years old. They're designed to be in service for 20 years, 15 frontline, 5 reserve, and this one's already clipping 18. It's going to take 350 days from the time this purchase is approved for it to be built under this contract. It can be over 400 days with some of the others, so we're getting up against the wire there. This new vehicle is designed through the collaborative efforts of fleet, operations, the reserves, and with some help from our comms folks back there. The reserves will be staffing it, put a lot of effort into the design. It's also going to be used as a partial rehab vehicle, so it's got awnings on it for doing rehab. It'll be carrying rehabilitation supplies, misters, water cases, stuff like that. Chief Wagaman and Mark Siebert have been huge helps on this. It will accommodate the district's new 5,500 PSI SCBA bottles. Right now, we're moving to a new high-pressure bottle, and we don't have any compressors in the district that will fill them. All of the stationary ones will be upgraded, and we're going to retrofit our 18-year-old one to be able to accommodate it for a short period of time, but this one will be built from the ground up to be able to do that. Let's see. This purchase will be made through the NPP Government Fire Rescue Purchasing Cooperative, which is a piece of California's or Western Fire Chiefs. It is a competitively bid contract. The sum is $552,000, $229,000.25. The funds are included in the budget, and staff is recommending that you approve the purchase of this vehicle. Any questions?
Are there any questions from directors for Mr. Purcell?
It's just nice to see that we have a piece of equipment that lasts nearly 20 years.
Oh, well,
I mean,
so we have 3 in the district for your edification. 501 is a 1993 with almost 200,000 miles on it. That's the third and oldest of the reserves, and I believe it's at 52 right now, still having the life squeezed out of it for as long as we can pull it. So we're getting on the barriers.
no pun intended.
All right, then. If there is no further discussion, sir.
Even though they're old, right? Okay. So you're going to have a new unit. Are you going to be able to retrofit one with a compressor that will? So,
Yeah, so it's much faster to retrofit one than it is to buy one, which is one of the reasons why this was delayed. We are already in process with having a Scott compressor and a fill station put in our existing unit.
Okay.
So we'll have the existing backup to the backup in play, and then in about 2 months we'll have the first one up and running. So it'll play frontline duty until this one lands on the ground.
Thank you.
So we'll have something for a little while.
Move staff's recommendation to purchase the air light unit.
Second.
All right, it's been first and seconded. Please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Director Sailors.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
And Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Purcell. Appreciate it. All right, moving on. Next report is the President's report. And I do have 3 items. I'll go ahead and do them now. One is I had the opportunity to attend the California Special District Association, the Ledge Day, this last Tuesday. Very, very interesting. Always good to reach out and make those network connections with other special districts as well as our legislators and staff. And I would like to commend the leadership and the representation for Metro Fire from Director Sailors as well as economic developer Jeff Fry, who attended. I appreciate their efforts very, very much, and they represented Metro extremely well. So thank you to both. On another note, I received a legislative alert letter today from the Fire District Association of California, and I've touched base with Mr. Fry, as well as sending the information to our CFO. It concerns the tug of war, so to speak, between the federal government's compensation to states for firefighting, making some of the reimbursements very onerous and after the fact, and it changes up the situation quite a bit. So I would like to give a shout out to FDAC for representing not only Metro Fire's interests, but all the interests and the public, the community at large in the state of California for representing the interests that we all have in fire protection and public safety in the state due to wildfire dangers. So thank you to that organization. The third and final item is on a totally different note. I received a notice also that former Big Chief William Powell from the city of Sacramento passed away. And so tonight, when we close our meeting, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Chief Bill Powell. He was the Big Chief when I first came on back in '81, and he'd already been on the job for quite some time. So anyway, we'll do a moment of silence for Chief Powell at the end of the meeting. All right, moving on to the Fire Chief's report.
Good evening, directors. A number of things kind of going on in the district. One of our members, Tom Neville, is going to be off for a while. Tom has had some on-duty injuries to his shoulder and is finally in a place to get his shoulder repaired. So during that time, you will see Battalion Chief Adam Mitchell acting out of class as one of the shift commanders out there. So we moved him over to fill into that spot. Two things is one is to continue the consistency on the C group, but also giving him an opportunity to kind of mentor and move up into a new position. And the last 2 days was his first 2 days, and he was very busy during that time. And I don't think he's here right now. He's at that fire that I just sent to you just a few minutes ago. Effective on the 22nd, computer system technician Alex Vasquez was promoted. We've had a number of meetings with command staff and day staff in the union over the last 2 weeks. Myself and the deputies over the last about 8 days have been very busy. During that time, we had 20 separate meetings, and we met with every member within the district. 18 of those meetings were with the firefighters in the field, and then 2 of those meetings were with the mechanics and the folks over at McClellan, and then one of those meetings was over here. We talked a lot about the activity in the district, responses. We talked a lot about ambulances and ambulances response and the coverage that we have in the district. One of the big things, though, that we talked about were the amount of vehicle accidents and a strategy for moving forward and making sure they were aware of where we're at, what is happening, what times were we hit, and also what things were happening as far as us hitting other vehicles or while in a response and the hazard of that. It was very well attended, very well received. As always, each and every one of those had their own unique questions and concerns as we move forward. As hard and as difficult of blocking out the time, myself and the exec staff feel there isn't anything more important than twice a year taking that time and meeting with everybody. We had our meeting that was EMS 2020 that was on the 14th, where we sit down with ourselves, the city of Sacramento, Folsom, and the Cosumnes Fire District, and looked at where we're at today compared to our goals that we had done about 18 months ago. One of the things that we were able to look at was the changes that we had done in dispatching of medic units on calls and what impact that had had. We'll have some more information in the future, but it has gone in line as our expectations, which was to reduce not our call volume, but the amount of times that we dispatch medics. And it looks like about 8% of the time, or we had about an 8% decrease in dispatches, which keeps them available, keeps them in their first due, and keeps them in a position of responding on calls and not having transports. So it was those low levels where we had very little transports that we made adjustments. The ops chiefs are looking at that and making a few other adjustments for moving forward. The last thing was last Friday on the 17th, Academy 19-1 had their academy graduation. We're going to have to find a bigger place to go to because it was absolutely filled with family and friends. They're a very happy group, and they all started on Monday out there. That ends my report unless you have any questions.
All right, hearing none and seeing none, thank you. We'll move to the operations report. It's not down here, or is it? Here we are. Yeah, Chief Bridge is up.
Yes, good evening,
Thank
Directors.
you.
Eric
Welcome.
Bridge, Deputy Chief Operations. I'll be brief with the report tonight. Since our last board meeting, we had about approximately 3,700 calls in total since that time, and about 75% of those were EMS related. On those, of that, the 75% would break you down to around approximately 2,800 calls of those 3,700, and that puts us at a transport of, we transport about 2,000 of those 2,800 during that time frame. In addition to that, on the fire activity, we're averaging since the beginning of the year about one structure fire a day. Obviously, some days there's no fires, and some days we'll have 4 or 5. Most recently, just wanted to point out to our members doing a fantastic job in Citrus Heights. There wasn't a big fire, but the sprinklers did its job. And then the firefighters showed up and they did their job because there was a lot of accounting papers. They were in the midst of doing some sort of remodel, and the accountants, some aggregate firm, had all their stuff down on the ground. And before it got, some of it was ruined by the sprinkler, but a lot of it was saved. So not only do we do a good job out there, I just want to put my hands up and recognize those guys and gals out there doing a good job. They continue to do it, but sometimes it's not as glamorous as one would think, but it certainly is to the business owners. So anyway, hats off to the crews in Citrus Heights doing a fine job. So I don't have anything further for you tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, though.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none and seeing none. Thank you, Chief Bridge. All right, moving on. SMFD Firefighters Local 522, Trevor Jameson. Welcome to the podium.
Thank you, President Jones, directors, chief arms, and staff. I just also want to give a quick shout out to the Deferred Comp Committee because I am a proud member of that committee. Dustin Rodriguez is the chair now, and we have some good young members. And you, as the board, has always supported that group. We take our job seriously, and I'm just proud as the vice president of 522 that we had 11 members sign up for that committee. So I think it speaks to some of the people that are on that and the work that's being done. And again, we always appreciate your support. Also, I'd like to say, we just got done with the Chiefs forums. Our members don't always hear what they want. They don't always get to say what they want. The Chiefs give a lot of dialogue. But I got to say, I do really believe that the membership appreciates that the Chiefs take the time to do that. You have expectations of those things, I think, when you go into them. And, sometimes they're met, sometimes they aren't. But I think overall, watching those develop over the years, I have to say the membership appreciates that. And I wanted to represent to the board that to have a staff that sits down and actually goes through 20 meetings, it's pretty impressive. And I think one of the things that I think I reached out to Chief Harms before he was actually working here, I was actually having I was texting with through him, someone from Phoenix, and letting him know that what is something that could be done is get out and see the membership. So I appreciate that the Chief Harms has lived up to that. And finally, I know in closed session tonight we've been talking about this contract. I think we have something through this back and forth. It is a contract negotiations. There's some button of heads. There's some disagreements. There's some altering priorities. But through this, I believe it's been a professional negotiations. I hope that the board will see that there's some things there that the membership has rightfully earned in this contract. And we'll support what comes to you. And hopefully we can get this thing done and moving and keep moving Metro Fire forward with a good labor management relations that we've been forging. So again, I truly appreciate what we're establishing here, the dialogue and the openness. And so hope the closed session goes like it should. So thank you. Unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for Trevor? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate your help, Mr. Jameson. Thank you. right, moving on, committee and delegate reports. Executive Committee, there is no report. Communications Center, JPA, A.C. Wagaman. Welcome to the podium.
Good evening, President Jones, directors, Chief Harms, Tyler Wagaman, Assistant Chief of Operations, speaking on behalf of the dispatch board this evening. The board last met this afternoon. It was a special board meeting just to discuss the ongoing litigation with Tyler New World. There was no action taken. Our next regular scheduled board meeting is going to be on May 28th, 9 o'clock here in the Metro Fire headquarters. That concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me.
No questions. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Moving on to California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, DC Shannon. Welcome.
Good evening. Our next meeting will be June 20th. We have nailed down a date for a strategic plan meeting for the JPA, which will also be that day, June 20th. So it'll be a JPA filled day, about 9 hours worth. Just a little history. I think it's been since 1999 that they've had the strategic plan was built. They've had some iterations over the years, but nothing that's really stuck or went to the board for vote. So hopefully we'll get this done and move forward with the new vision, or the next vision, I should say, for the JPA. So if you don't have any questions, end of report.
One question, Chief Shannon. I think I'm still the alternate on that. I just want to let you know I will not be available on the 20th.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. The next one, Finance and Audit Committee, Director Kelly.
The Finance and Audit Committee met this evening. We heard report on the presentation, I should say, on the 2019-2020 proposed budget, and it looks like it's a balanced budget and should go well.
All right. Thank you. Next up, Policy Committee, Director Gould.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Policy Committee, looks like we're meeting June 13th, 2019, 5:30.
All right, very good. I'm going to show up just to make sure you're doing a good job.
There you go. Probably smart.
All righty. We're going to move to board member questions and comments, and we'll start over to my left with Director Delman Clark. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. I have no comment.
All right. Director Wood.
Just want to say thank you to Mr. Jones. Appreciate the comments that you brought, and always good to have people from the public come in and speak with us about their concerns. So thank you for taking the time. Chief, I just want to say thank you to you for the updates we always get and letting us know that our members are safe. So I appreciate those. It's always good to see those and know what's going on before we read about them or see them in the media. And just last June 22nd, Tropical Fair, Firefighters Burn Institute. It's a very reasonable price for an awesome night, and it couldn't go to a better organization. So June 22nd, get your tickets online. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Director Sailors.
Good evening. I have had a busy week in my community, and I'd like to thank the department for sending over on Friday, May 17th. My community had what they called Farm and Tractor Days at the Dry Creek Ranch House. And so Engine 111 C shift and the reserves brought Engine 116 over. And on Friday, Twin Rivers School District trucked in about 600 children. And it was fabulous. The firefighters that were on shift that day handled it very well and were very professional and got the kids in there, and the parents that were there took pictures of the kids in the fire engine. This is a wonderful organization, and they were very good. Luckily, it didn't rain on us that day. Everyone had a great time. The horses were pulling old-fashioned plows around and baling hay. It was a wonderful time had by all. And on Saturday, Engine 111 A shift came out, and the reserves brought Engine 116 out. And then on Monday, the Rotary Club in my district recognized firefighter Matt Salmons, who was Firefighter of the Year. And they gave him a nice plaque and $100, which he turned around and gave right back to the Rotary Club. He came with his crew in the truck, and Battalion Chief Jason Vestal came also. We had lunch, and I can see why firefighter Matt Simons is firefighter of the year. He's very professional, very well spoken, and he did a great job. And then I spent Tuesday and Wednesday at the state capitol with President Jones and economic developer Jeff Fry, touring the capitol and speaking to the lawmakers. I learned a lot, and I look forward to doing that some more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Sailors. Next up, Director Gould.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just two things. Like Trevor, I hope that the closed session goes well. But I want to thank everyone that's been a party to this process. I think I've seen a few contracts come and go in my time, and I'm very pleased at the tenor of where we're at as we get ready this evening to make some pretty monumental decisions. But just the overall sense that we have is that this was done very professionally, and that there's we don't have the tension that's been in the past. So thank you for all of you who have been involved deeply. Our job is not as difficult, I know, as it's been leading up to tonight's event. So thank you for that. The other thing I want to do is just again do a shout out to the compensation, or to the committee that basically secures the future for our firefighters beyond what they have in their pensions. That deferred comp committee is unbelievable. I've always been impressed by that work for years as they've explained what exactly they do here. And I wish them continued success. And it's exciting to hear that when a position becomes available, that there's a lot of people that are interested in serving in that way. So kudos to all of you, and it makes another element of Metro Fire just look really outstanding. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Director Gould. Director Ozali.
Just briefly, I wanted to thank the gentleman from the community about the CERT team, and I'm anxious to hearing what the outcome of that is. Second, I'd like to express my appreciation to Amanda Thomas and her team for the work they put into this report. This is a long, arduous slog, and I really appreciate the quality of your work. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Kelly.
I've got no comment this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Director Sheets.
Good evening. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Jones for your involvement in bringing some of the information to light. I was able to attend the graduation, and it was packed, so it was great to see all the family members. I look forward to the Tropical Fair and hope all the board members are there, because it is a great event, great food too. And that is it.
Okay, thank you, Director Sheets. I would also like to thank Aaron Jones for coming to the podium and participating in these proceedings. I'd like to wish Chief Neville a quick recovery. Sorry to hear about the negative accident there. Congratulations to Alex Vasquez for his promotion in IT. That's great. And Chief, I'm really glad to hear about the adjustments being made to medical dispatch. It's a step-by-step process, and sometimes the steps are slow, but thank you for moving forward on it. I appreciate it very much. With that, we're going to adjourn to closed session, and as usual, we appreciate not having anybody here when we come back, because we don't know how long it's going to last. Thank you all very much. Adjourn to closed session.